Welcome back to Speak English Podcast. I'm David, and with me, as always, is Sarah. Today, we're diving into a topic that can transform your English learning journey.
That's right. If you've been translating everything in your head before speaking, this episode is for you. We'll show you how to train your brain to think in English naturally.
No more hesitation, no more slow conversations, just fluent, confident English. We've broken this down into 4 powerful steps. By the end, you'll have a clear roadmap to start thinking in English today.
And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps us bring more free content to you. Ready to begin?
Let's do it. Now that we know why thinking in English is important, let's talk about common mistakes learners make.
Absolutely. It's easy to slip into these bad habits without even realizing it.
The first mistake is trying to memorize entire sentences instead of learning how words naturally connect.
Right? Because if you memorize sentences, you're not truly understanding the language. You're just repeating what you've learned.
Exactly. Memorizing "how are you" is helpful, but if you don't understand the words, you'll struggle with variations like "how's it going?" or "how have you been?"
That's why it's better to learn the structure and meaning behind sentences instead of just memorizing them.
Another mistake is overthinking grammar while speaking.
Oh, I've been guilty of that. We often worry about making mistakes and forget that speaking is about communication.
Yes, and when you focus too much on grammar, you'll hesitate and struggle to speak naturally.
Native speakers don't think about grammar, they just talk.
Exactly. So, stop worrying about being perfect. It's okay to make mistakes.
Another mistake is overanalyzing the situation. For example, you might think too much about what to say next, and that slows you down.
Right? It's all about letting go of that pressure. Just speak naturally, even if you don't have the perfect word.
And speaking too slowly can be another mistake. You might pause too much while trying to find the perfect sentence.
Yes, and that's where learning to think directly in English helps. You stop thinking in your native language and just say it.
A lot of learners are afraid of sounding wrong, but the key is to practice without fear of making errors.
Another mistake is relying too much on translation apps or dictionaries when you're speaking.
That can be a huge crutch. It interrupts your flow of thought and makes you dependent on technology.
Instead, try to think of words on the spot in English, even if it takes a moment.
Exactly. Over time, that will become second nature.
And remember, the more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
Now that we know what not to do, let's talk about the best strategies to train your brain to think in English.
Here's where the fun starts. Let's dive into some practical strategies that will help you train your brain to think in English on a daily basis.
Exactly, David. The first and most powerful strategy is to surround yourself with English as much as possible. The more you hear and see the language, the faster your brain will adapt.
One way to do this is by changing your phone settings to English. Every time you look at your phone, you'll be exposed to new vocabulary and phrases.
And don't stop there. Watch movies and TV shows in English without subtitles. At first, it might feel difficult, but over time, you'll start to understand more.
Listening to podcasts, like this one, is another great way to immerse yourself. Try to listen to content in English while doing simple tasks during the day.
That's right. Also, pay attention to the decisions you make throughout the day. Try to think in English when deciding what to eat, what to wear, or what to do next.
Another great method is to talk to yourself in English. Narrate your day as you go about it. For example, while you're cleaning, you could say, "I'm wiping the counter. I'm sweeping the floor."
This is such a simple technique, but it's incredibly effective. It forces your brain to start using English naturally in everyday situations.
Exactly. And don't forget to speak out loud. If you only think in English, you're missing the opportunity to practice speaking and improving your pronunciation.
Speaking aloud also helps you become more comfortable with the language. It might feel awkward at first, but the more you do it, the more confident you'll become.
Another powerful tool is to keep a short journal in English. It could be just a few sentences at the end of your day, describing what you did or how you felt.
This will not only improve your writing skills, but also help reinforce the vocabulary and grammar you've learned throughout the day.
And when you do this regularly, your brain starts to think in English without you even realizing it. It becomes part of your daily routine.
Another fun idea is to label things around your house in English. Put sticky notes on objects and write the English word for them. Every time you see the word, it reinforces your memory.
It's like turning your whole environment into an English learning space. The more exposure you get, the faster you'll adapt.
And let's not forget about reading. Pick up books, articles, or even social media posts in English. Reading not only helps with vocabulary, but also exposes you to different sentence structures.
That's a great point, Sarah. The more you read, the easier it will be for your brain to recognize common sentence patterns and use them naturally.
So remember, consistency is key. Practice these strategies every day and you'll see massive improvements.
And don't be discouraged if it takes time. Learning to think in English doesn't happen overnight, but with daily practice, you'll get there. To truly master the ability to think in English, consistency is absolutely key. Without it, the progress will be slow, and you won't see the results you're hoping for.
That's right, David. You can't expect to change your thinking habits overnight, but with a solid daily routine, you'll start seeing improvements in no time.
So, let's talk about a simple daily routine that will help you train your brain to think in English and make it part of your life.
In the morning, spend just 5 minutes naming objects around you in English. Whether it's the bed, the lamp, or your coffee cup, speak out loud and say the English words for everything you see.
This may sound easy, but it's a great way to start your day. It helps you begin thinking in English right from the moment you wake up.
During the day, try describing simple actions in English, whether you're walking, cooking, or working. For example, instead of saying in your head, "I'm making breakfast," say, "I'm frying eggs," or "I'm toasting the bread."
The key here is to think in English continuously, even for the little tasks. The more you do this, the easier it will be to think in English in more complex situations.
And don't just keep it to speaking. In the evening, set aside at least 10 minutes to listen to English content. You could listen to podcasts, audiobooks, or even watch videos like this one.
And while you're doing this, focus on the language you're hearing. Try to pick up new words, phrases, or expressions that you didn't know before.
Another great practice is to keep a journal. Before bed, write at least 3 sentences in English about your day. It doesn't have to be a long paragraph, just a few simple lines to reflect on your experiences.
Writing in English not only reinforces your language skills, but it also helps you get into the habit of forming thoughts in English.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes while journaling. It's all part of the process. The goal is to get better every day, not to be perfect right away.
Exactly. By incorporating these small steps into your daily routine, thinking in English will become second nature to you. The more consistent you are, the faster the results will come.
But remember, this is a gradual process. You won't wake up tomorrow speaking perfect English, but in a month you'll notice a big difference if you stick to this routine.
One more tip. Don't just rely on structured study. Make English a part of your everyday life. Use it when making decisions, talking to people, or even just thinking to yourself.
The more you integrate English into your daily life, the less effort it will take to think in English. It will feel natural, like it's always been part of you.
And most importantly, keep going. Don't get discouraged by the ups and downs you might face along the way.
Yes, it's all about persistence and practice. If you keep working at it, you will improve and start thinking in English without even realizing it.
So, what's the next step for you? Start small, be consistent, and before you know it, you'll be thinking in English like a native speaker.
We hope this episode helps you on your journey. Keep practicing, stay patient, and remember to enjoy the process. You've got this.
Now, While thinking in English is a powerful strategy, let's not forget that it doesn't happen overnight. It's important to understand that you might face some challenges along the way. There will be moments when you feel like you're not making progress, and that's completely normal.
Exactly. One of the most common challenges learners face is getting frustrated when they don't see instant results. But the key is to stay consistent, even when it feels like you're not moving forward. The more you practice, the more natural it will become.
Right, Sarah. And another challenge is the fear of making mistakes. When you're trying to think in English, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that every sentence has to be perfect. But the truth is, mistakes are a part of the learning process, and they actually help you improve faster.
Yes, David, embrace your mistakes and use them as opportunities to learn. The more you practice without the pressure of perfection, the more you'll gain confidence in your speaking ability. Don't be afraid to speak, even if you're not sure if you're saying everything correctly.
It's also important to remember that learning a language is not a race. It's a journey that takes time, and there's no need to rush. Celebrate the small wins along the way, like understanding a new phrase or being able to hold a conversation without translating.
That's such an important point, David. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. And the more you acknowledge these small successes, the more motivated you'll feel to continue practicing and improving.
Another challenge that learners face is feeling self-conscious when speaking. It's natural to worry about how you sound or whether people will understand you, but remember that everyone makes mistakes. Focus on communicating your message, and the more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
Absolutely. And speaking of confidence, one of the best ways to boost your speaking confidence is by practicing with others. Whether it's with a language partner, a tutor, or even just speaking out loud to yourself, the more you practice speaking, the easier it will become.
That's a great tip, Sarah. And while practicing speaking is important, listening to native speakers is equally valuable. By listening to how native speakers express themselves, you'll improve your understanding of the language and start internalizing correct phrasing and sentence structures.
Yes, listening is a great way to improve your English without even realizing it. Whether it's watching movies, listening to podcasts, or reading books in English, the more you immerse yourself in the language, the more natural it will feel.
Another strategy that can really help is thinking about language immersion. Even if you don't live in an English-speaking country, you can create an immersive environment by surrounding yourself with English media. Change your phone settings to English. Follow English-speaking social media accounts, and expose yourself to the language as much as possible.
That's such a great suggestion, David. Immersion is one of the fastest ways to improve your language skills. By constantly being exposed to English, you'll start thinking in the language more naturally and without even realizing it.
And when it comes to language learning, consistency is key. It's better to practice a little bit every day than to do long sessions sporadically. By setting aside a small amount of time each day to practice speaking, listening, or even just thinking in English, you'll see steady progress over time.
Absolutely. Even 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference. The more you practice consistently, the easier it will be to think and speak in English without hesitation. It's all about building a daily habit.
And remember, you don't have to do it all at once. Focus on one step at a time. Maybe today you practice describing what you see in English, and tomorrow you focus on listening to a podcast. Small, manageable goals will keep you motivated and prevent you from feeling overwhelmed.
That's so true. It's easy to get discouraged if you try to do too much at once. But when you break things down into smaller tasks, it becomes much easier to stay focused and motivated.
Another great way to stay motivated is by joining an English learning community. Surrounding yourself with like-minded learners can provide encouragement, support, and a sense of accountability. You don't have to do it alone.
Exactly. Whether it's a group of friends, a language partner, or even an online community, having others to practice with can make a huge difference. You'll feel more motivated and encouraged to continue learning.
And lastly, don't forget to have fun with it. Language learning doesn't have to be a chore. Find ways to enjoy the process, whether it's watching your favorite English TV shows, playing language games, or listening to music in English. The more fun you make it, the more motivated you'll be to keep practicing.
That's a fantastic point, David. Language learning should be enjoyable. When you're having fun, you're more likely to stick with it and stay motivated. So, find activities that you love and make learning English an enjoyable part of your day.
Before we wrap up, let's quickly recap the key points from today's episode. To start thinking in English, it's all about consistency and integrating English into your daily routine.
Absolutely. Surround yourself with English, practice speaking out loud, write in a journal, and keep exposing yourself to the language every day.
And remember, it's important to stay patient with yourself. This is a process, and you're going to improve over time, as long as you keep practicing.
Exactly. Don't be discouraged by mistakes or challenges along the way. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to thinking in English naturally.
One thing to keep in mind is that your brain needs time to adjust. Just like learning any new skill, thinking in English is something that becomes easier the more you do it.
So be consistent, trust the process, and celebrate the small victories. As long as you keep practicing, your fluency will grow, and you'll notice the changes yourself.
We believe in you, and we're excited to hear about your progress. Keep applying these strategies, and soon you'll be thinking in English without even trying.
And don't forget, English is not just a language, it's a mindset. The more you think in English, the more confident you'll feel in your speaking abilities.
Now, we want to hear from you. What's the first step you're going to take to start thinking in English? Let us know in the comments below.
If you found today's episode helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new episode.
We've got a lot of exciting content coming your way, and we don't want you to miss out. So, make sure you're subscribed and join us for the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Speak English podcast. Keep practicing, keep thinking in English, and we'll see you soon.
Take care, and remember, practice makes progress. See you next time.